Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Got my good friend on, Lance Malone, and he does a great job with his company, Standard Supply, helping to keep business owners, particularly in the air conditioning and heating field, on the right track. And Lance Malone, your company's been doing this now for a long time. It looks like you got another great guest lined up for us. Tell us a little bit more about Standard Supply, give that website, and then introduce our guest for us today.
Sure, Kevin. Thanks for having us on again today. I always enjoy being on your program. Standard Supply is a distributor of heating, air conditioning, refrigeration, and ventilation products. And as you mentioned, we've been helping the best contractors in Texas take care of their customers' cooling and heating needs since 1946. Almost 70 years now. You can find out more about us at ssdhvac.com. That's ssdhvac.com. And I'm thrilled today to have our great customer, Reinhardt Loesch, with us. Reinhardt is the owner of Indoor Air there in the greater Houston area, and you can find out more about them at indoorair.inc.com.
Yeah, and I'm looking over at the website, and welcome, by the way, Reinhardt. I'm looking at the website. You have lots of locations around the greater Houston area. Tell us a little bit about the locations and a little bit about the history of the company.
In the air conditioning and heating business, for about 35 years, we do mostly residential and commercial, some marine AC.
And again, you have all these various locations. Your first question for our guest, Lance?
Yeah, Reinhardt, we're getting to that time of year where it's warming up outside. It's gotten up into the 70s, and air conditioners are going to start running again soon if they haven't already. Is there something that our listeners need to do to be prepared for that?
Well, if they could replace filters for us, that would help. Trim some bushes around the units, and just make the attic accessible. Sometimes we get up there and there's treasures up there that are in the way. We have to move. It's just time-consuming, and it makes it go much smoother if we can get some of that stuff out of the way.
I'm looking at the website, again, indoorair.inc.com. And it's just really incredible, the plethora of different services that you do. It just doesn't remind me much of my, my grandpa's, AC and company, not that he was in that. But, what we expected before. It's really a high-tech business, isn't it now?
It is. A lot of it's computerized, and we have to keep our technicians abreast of all the changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Lance?
Yeah, Reinhardt, now what do your customers need you to come out and do this time of year?
Well, we'll come out and flush the drains. That's always an issue in Houston with all the humidity. And we look over the duct work, make sure there's not any crushed duct that's happened from one season to the other. Folks go in the attic and things get moved around, and the ducts sometimes are open, and that no one wants to be air conditioning the attic, obviously. And then we check the refrigerant charges and all the electrical components, make sure everything is going to run smooth for the next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing worse than crushed ducts. Oh, you didn't say ducts. You said duct. Okay. So I think that's probably a huge deal. People have had a relatively dormant AC now for several months. Now that they just want to put it now in full force here in a matter of just a week or so. You know how Houston lines up. Houston spring is just another name for summer anywhere else in the country. So people really need to do a checkup because they could find themselves with some serious costs otherwise.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Some of these components fail, and then it can take a compressor out, and that really gets expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. Lance?
Kevin, there's really no odometer on your air conditioner, so you don't have that constant reminder of when you need to have maintenance done. And I would almost liken getting ready for the season to getting ready to go on a cross-country trip in a vehicle that you've had for several years. You need to get it checked out and make sure that everything is going to operate properly, so you don't have a failure when it's 100 degrees outside. I was going to ask Reinhardt, how much should a homeowner expect to pay for a properly performed spring maintenance visit?
Somewhere between $80 and $100.
Okay, what about a business?
It probably the same. Business would be the same. It takes a little longer to get. Most of them are on the roof and easier access than actually a residence.
Yeah, and there's less things around it, so you can probably get to work on it quicker. And that's a very reasonable cost compared to the cost of, again, just throwing that AC on and surprise, surprise, surprise.
Yes.
You can actually prevent an ounce of prevention always better than a pound of cure. In fact, whenever we have these kind of conversations, Lance, a plethora of cliches come into our mind, and they all relate to how important it is to prevent big costs by doing the smart things on the front end. Again, looking at the website, IndoorAirInc.com, it's very advanced. People can easily click schedule a repair. Do some of your people use that function? Some of your clients?
Yes, they email us in a service call.
It's pretty great. I like that. I think it just makes a lot of sense and a lot easier for the customer. We got to wrap it up, Lance. You want to have some final thoughts as we sum up the interview?
Sure, I'd love to, Kevin. I'd like to ask Reinhardt one more thing. There's a lot of ads that you see in various places for these checkups for $49 or even $39. I think I saw one for $25 one time. Should our listeners be wary of that sort of a deal?
Well, typically those folks that come out usually they just want to get their foot in the door to try to sell you something, and a legitimate company running a service truck and a serviceman that actually can repair, not just replace or sell a piece of equipment, is going to cost you more than $49 or $39 to get them out there.
Mm-hmm. All right. Great information. Give Standard Supply's website one more time.
SSDHVAC.com.
I'm Kevin Price. You're listening to The Price of Business. When we come back, we're going to have much more for you. Reinhardt, thanks so much for your participation today. And do want to remind you, of course, the best content here, it shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. While they're like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter.